So, welcome to this preview of the NBA. Upcoming match day this night, night from 15th to the 16th of November. We compile the prices with the Betmaster Tool, which is capable of compiling the NBA prices now as well. And we are ready to introduce new sports into this tool, as there are plenty of them that are also being bet on, and the Betmaster is able to compile prices to predict in the sense of probabilities. Any probability is not a real prediction. It is an assessment, because if I say something is 70%, then I'm not going to say it's going to come. I'm not going to say it's not going to come. All I say is that it's going to come to 70%, which involves the possibility for the alternative outcome, for it not to occur. And if I just say it, it's worth nothing, more or less, but it's an assessment. But if I bet on it, because I get a better price than the reciprocal of this assessment, which would be 1.42 or something like that. So if I get 145 at the market, then I would have a value bet, and in that sense, I would undermine. I would stress my assessment with money. But anyway, if you like what you see here in my videos, if you like my channel, please subscribe. If you like whatever you see, leave a like. If you have questions, ask them down below. If you want to have this tool yourself, you can get, except if you follow the link in the description. So, and we're gonna have a look at those games. And I didn't do anything. I didn't do beforehand, so we're starting from scratch, more or less. Of course, I can try to assess the prices as I do for the football bets. I can try to evaluate the games without seeing market or without knowing what the computer thinks or says. So if I click on the Cavs against Boston Celtics, Cavs are having a good campaign. Boston should still be the much better side. So I guess still it will be slight favorites, Celtics, but I'm not sure, and I do not know what market thinks about it. And as soon as we have a deviation here, I'm not claiming that my calculations are perfect in by any means, because we can still adjust the settings. I've done the settings based on, well, former results, and also checking the more or less with them, the American 538. I can say the page. I looked it up. And NBA, I'm not coming from basketball, but still my tools and algorithms are working well. I've been watching a couple of games recently, and it's an exciting, very good sports, and plenty of people like it, and I can get into this. I will stick to football maybe, but NBA you can always also have as a second choice, or maybe first choice in the future. Wizards against Pelicans, I wouldn't be too sure, to be honest. Pelicans didn't win many games, I guess. And the Wizards will also be somewhere, well, not even average, but they should be very low. So maybe something like, I mean, we had the 2.5 in favor of Boston Celtics, which I think will not quite be market adjusted. So maybe we'll have a bet on Boston, and then we can think about it. Wizards against Pelicans, I think it will be -5. 5.5, something like that on the Wizards. It's just a rough guess, and I'm trying to do my job and maybe get into this sports as well by doing so. So computer can easily teach me better, but it's 5.5. Can you see that? I don't know what market thinks about it. Pistons against Kings, both not in such awful shape. I would say Pistons very low at the moment, so Kings should even be slight favorites, I guess, but only maximum 2 points, something like that, I figure. And We will compare this to market. Oh, yeah, it's 3.6. Okay, so I wasn't fully wrong. I wasn't fully right. Hawks with some kind of splendid result last night, maybe. So they are possibly back to back. We didn't take care of that. So if you know how to evaluate that, you can happily do that with inside the dialogues here, because you can as well adjust your team strengths here. If you can't, then I have to apologize. At least you see here the relative shape. So maybe this is not yet possible, but we can of course always look at the teams rankings here and adjust something, a couple of things here. Miami Heat recently very successful. Utah Jazz maybe not top. They even lost to Heat, I think, 2 days ago. But who's better? No one really pointing up here, right? Couple of teams still trying to find their regular shape, I would say, but it's still early days. But I'm not so. I'm just more or less showing you here my skills, my tool skills, and also my trying to start to be able to compile those prices and starting to get into this NBA. Hawks against Magic, I would say we have something like 10.5, maybe even more. Hawks are pretty good, but Magic awful. But I'm not sure. 10, 9.5, 11 could be as well. I do not know. And I tool will be the one thing, and market will be the other. That's 12.8. So I was coming pretty close, in fact. Knicks against Pacers. Knicks still trouble. Against Pacers, but they are both no good really at the moment. I would say still the Knicks should be very slight favorites, maybe just 1.5 or maybe 2.5. I really don't know. I'm just roughly guessing here, but that's 1.8, so I was right in between. That's tool assessment. We will check out in a minute what market thinks. City Thunder against Heat, that should be... Now, City Thunder won a couple of games, but Heat are, of course, well, like 8.5, 9.5 at least. No, yeah, 9.5. I'm but maybe you notice that I'm pretty insecure. That's 11.3. So once again, I wasn't awfully wrong. Timberwolves against Suns. Suns will be favorites. Suns will at least be 3.5, rather 4.5 ahead. But I'm still pretty impressed how well my tool is working here. That is 4.5. 4.7. I'm impressed by myself, I have to say, right? How well I'm guessing these Grizzlies against Rockets. That's at least, no, it's only 11.5. I can't make it anymore. Rockets are awful and Grizzlies are in some decent shape. That's 10.5. Okay. I was coming close, at least to my tools assessment. Mavericks against Nuggets, that should even be, well, pretty even, very even. Mavs not in such fine shape, but also Nuggets not perfect at the moment. I could work out the names of the top stars maybe as well. Pretty even. That's 1 point, okay. 1 point. It's still a slight edge to the Mavs. Okay, I will accept that as until we see market prices. Trailblazers against Raptors. Raptors will even be ahead. Trailblazers awful, but maybe pretty even or still slightly ahead. The Trailblazers could be. Oh, that's 3.7. 3.3. So I was fully wrong in this one, but I wasn't making up my mind before I pressed on the compile. Lakers against Bulls. The Lakers found their shape, but Bulls are in excellent shape. So maybe pretty even, but Lakers, they could even, well, no. The Bulls are too strong, but Lakers could still be slight favorites, very slight favorites. Where is that? No, it's Bulls ahead, 2.5, but maybe market different here. So we stick to that, compare that with market, and check out if we find something. We see the true price on the win and loss. We could of course compare the lines as well, but maybe we do just the basic USA. That's only 7 games. No, that's more than 7. So we compare that easily. Wizards against Pelicans, 163, so there would be a kind of an indication, so why not check it here. Cavs against 153 is true price, 163, but we are pretty close, right? 3.5 is also somewhere that I was guessing. Cavs against Celtics, market is, I thought Cavs should be even, but it's not the case. Also market agrees with me. The 168 are even a bit above my true price. So would we 165, 168? I mean, why wouldn't I check it here? At least Pistons against Kings. Okay, I was guessing pretty even. Kings are considered to be favorites. I would not like to bet 155. No indication. I was pretty close. I mean, my computer, I think I made a bad price on this one. Hawks against Magic. That's 117, sorry. On the Hawks, 122, so we are close enough. I mean, we would have the same price. Knicks are still favorites, 162. Maybe the indication is on the Pacers, I don't know. I can't remember really. 225, close enough. Once again, 221, true price. Would we bet on the Pacers? I mean, very small indications, right? The Suns, 155. Maybe I was right on that one, 159, so perfect in fact. Mavs against Nuggets, well, the 240 should be a bet on the Nuggets, I guess, but maybe it's back to back. 240, 215, there would be an indication, not by much, but still a fairly decent one. I would figure Mavs are, somehow they all like them. I don't know, for Luka Doncic is his name, right? Would we, well, that could be a reason why the prices are a bit better on the opposing side. I forgot the next one, that was Hawks. No, Grizzlies, sorry. 130, 131. So computer would even propose 580 on the Rockets, but ever since Harden left, they are going nowhere. So maybe we should adjust their strength a bit. But Grizzlies are also doing okay. Of course, we could check that here if we click on the match. So why we wouldn't bet that? It's minus 8.72. That's what the Rockets done. They are also not in perfect shape, the Grizzlies, as I was guessing wrong, but they are just too awful for us at the moment, I would say. And 580 is not a huge indication, right? If you like it, go ahead, try your luck. City Thunder against Heat, 117 on the Heat. I have 127 here once again. Computer might 490, 472 we got. Trailblazers 175, 2.05. That would even be an indication on the Trailblazers that I was figuring they are not in such fine shape. Minus 10.94, while the Raptors are doing okay. The points assessments are not fully, are not perfect yet, but I would take that for granted. Or at least those deviations, they are well calculated. And they are not in fine shape, and it's not a real indication. Only for the ones that like it. 175, I'm still pretty close to market. Here we have the Lakers against Bulls, and as I was guessing, Lakers are doing too well. Computer would say here we could go with the Bulls, but I would not fully trust them, while I would still think Lakers could. I said that after I saw them in the first game, I was watching that. Here it says still a minus, but that should be a better recent, the relative form. They had a couple of wins here, as you see. Also the Bulls, in fact, of course, they are doing excellently. So why not maybe still go with the Bulls, right? And those are the indications. If we talk about the totals, I would like to mention that I found out by watching the videos by Oddspedia. Nick Custodian has done an excellent job, and although I would still recommend to know where to start from, to have this basis, but of course seeing all the rankings and stats and so on is also very helpful. But he explained that they changed the ball, and ever since they are just not scoring as well as they used to. And I think it's like something like 9 points per game that are missing, in fact. And show table, show expectancies, I think. But here I have a small problem that still my provider is giving me the preseason games. I was calculating that in a different manner. Well, it's a bit confusing at the moment. What I think is they are 9 points behind. Where could we see the total points that had been scored? That's it's getting a bit complex here, right? 14,474 plus, but that should be somewhere else. But and this I have to divide by the number of games. That's 251. Oh no, that's one-sided. No, I was fully wrong. Sorry, I was fully wrong. All clear. Silly, absolutely silly. And I have to divide this figure by 251. Now we get that's 213.61. And if I remember correctly, last season it had been 222 or something like that. So it's like 9 baskets they are short. And I watched a couple of games, and I tried I was watching a couple of games last season as well, and this season, and I don't know, they had so many 3-point attempts, and they had been scoring from there, and now, well, it's a minor difference with 3 attempts not being scored. That's 9 points, right, per game, because it could be 2 from this side and 1 from that side. It's hard to evaluate that, but obviously it's what happens. So the computer is always a bit optimistic about the points, so it would rather suggest the over, and we have an adjustment there. But I was comparing that, and if we do that now game by game, but we have this adjustment span, or what would be a difference, right? Where we always have to be a lot more careful. Wizards 213. Computers, of course, trying to adjust that game by game if there is nothing systematic behind it. But if there is, and we had to adjust it by 9 points, then we should do it, of course, right? Anyway, here we see the effect. It's 229 or even 230, the computer says here, and the line is 213, so it would be very clear over. But as it is miles above, I should even check this one here, right? Because it's I had to compare this team by team. I was just trying to mention this problem, and in this case but in the Cavs against Celtics we have 199 only, and computer has 207, so here we have the difference of these 7 or 8 or 9 points or something like that, so then we could skip it. In the Pistons we have 212, and computer has 216, 217, there it's only 7. We had to do that a bit more individually. I just wanted to mention this problem, right? Hawks 214.5, computer is here 217, so we are coming closer. Still, it would be a small indication on the over, but I would rather advise you to be a bit more careful with the tool, even if you use it, then not just these over. There is some major change, and when we even have an evidence that something may have changed, right? So things are going differently, right? And Knicks 215.5. There we have 217.8. So now we are coming a lot closer. So here we had somewhere some huge deviations. Now we're coming to in the range of 2 or 3 points, which is not massive, but which means market is adjustment, tool is adjusting, and tool is adjusting, and so we're coming closer. Timberwolves 220. Here we have 225. So that's everything is moderate, and we're somewhere in the middle. And Knicks 215. Did we check this one already? Knicks 215, 217. You see that here. Timberwolves 220, I was checking that already, right? 225, right? I was one below already. Mavericks 209.5, Mavericks 215, 216. Okay, you see that we have always this difference, and of course market, if people are betting on it, they are caring for this adjustment. If they know or understand where it comes from, it's like bulk intelligence that people are just so it makes a lot of sense that it's somewhere in the middle between my line and the and these 9 points difference. The computer is adjusting a bit slower, I would like to call it, because it means there is no systematic reason behind that. But if there is, then I should adjust it manually. City Thunder, Grizzlies 219.5. Here we have 225. It's again 6 or something like that. City Thunder 210.5. And there we have 212.5. So another one coming a lot closer, but always it would be kind of an over. Raptors is 212.5. Did I say Raptors? Trailblazers. Here we have 222. Here we have a bigger deviation of 10 points. And in the Lakers we have 218.5. And there we have 210. So in this case we would have an under, kind of, right? So that then we could trust it a bit better. But of course we can check that as well. I'm not fully happy with the presentation here, because there are the preseason games somehow in this here, and I couldn't tell so well which figure I really have to look at, right? And so I have to improve on that. I think the calculations here are pretty reliable already. We see that the over-under we wouldn't trust so much, but on the sides we had been coming very, very close in all the games, and if there is indications, they are usually very small. That had been 215, here 221, here it was 176 maybe, but we know why, because Lakers, they all know, here it's been 163, here 157 or something like that, so we are very close. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching, and once again reminding you, leave your likes, leave your comments, tell me what you think about it. Thanks for watching, bye bye.